Did I not do it? Upcoming. There we go. Okay. Let's see if green screen is working today. There we go. Awesome. Thank you, YouTube. All right. Here we go. Go ahead on your own and inhale and exhale. Actually, let me start again. You're going to need note taking materials for this live. You're going to need physical note taking materials or virtual note taking materials for this live. Okay, now we can go ahead on our own and inhale. Good morning. We can go ahead on your own and inhale and exhale 3 times just to do some deep cleansing breaths to let the brain know that we're getting ready to use it for la hoy today. All right, on your own. Inhale and exhale 3 times. Good morning, Lola. I am Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout. Today's topic is embrace change. Now, we have gone through all of the 74 principles of real leadership. I gave you an overview, and then I went in detail to describe them. And now that's a playlist on this YouTube channel, the 74 principles of real leadership. And now what we're doing is, good morning, Jasmine. Now what we're doing is we are making the connection of the 74 principles of real leadership to the brain. And what that process is called is called neurogenesis, where you get some new neurons, neuroplasticity. You create the actual neural pathway of that principle of real leadership so that you can use it every single day to become your best. And that process is called neuropability, which is the theory of personal accountability, which is PA plus 45 degrees equals B, which is your best, along with the 74 principles of real leadership. You put all that together and you're going to be a bad mofo. Now, this process that we're using is to tell me, show me, let me, and now we're in the show me phase. And so I looked up, because remember I was saying, how in the world is this going to take place? Because how I learned how to do this is through demonstration. But what am I demonstrating? And so there are 3 different definitions of the word show, but part of the definition of the word show is to explain. So what I am doing from a show perspective is I am explaining to you the principle of real leadership, and then I am showing you. So if you see this, it's saying embrace change, and it's showing you the parts of the brain that you are using: your prefrontal cortex, your anterior cingulate cortex, your amygdala, your insular cortex, and your hippocampus. And it's showing you where it is located in the brain. So when you are embracing change, all of these parts of your brains, those lobes and the different parts of the brain, the amygdala is in the temporal lobe, the prefrontal cortex is located in the cerebral cortex, in the frontal lobe portion of your brain, and then the insular cortex is all by itself. Hippocampus is also located in the temporal lobe with the amygdala, and the anterior cingulate is located there as well because it has the emotions attached to it. So if this feels highbrow for you, good, because it's time for you to elevate your mind instead of doing dumb shit. Now you can actually learn how to use your brain. Okay, that's the 2% of me. Let me get back. So embrace change. It is the first principle of real leadership. It's not the number one principle of real leadership, but it is the first one. The top priority for principles of real leadership is to hold yourself and others personally accountable. Why is that necessary? Because if you don't do that, you can't learn any of the other 74 principles of real leadership. If you have a bunch of unaccountable people in your life fucking with you all day long, you are going to have a hijacked amygdala, which is sitting right there, and you are not going to be able to hear nothing that I'm saying or do anything that I'm saying, because the amygdala shuts down access to the frontal lobe, and it's all about safety. The last thing it's trying to do is learn. It's looking for the threat, and it's trying to avoid the threat at all possible costs. So in my book, Real Leaders Wear Pink, I talk about embrace change. It's the first one. If you want a copy, I recommend you have a copy just so you can understand how this all began. Go on Amazon. If it's out of stock, that's between the people selling it. I no longer sell my book, Creative Economic Development, for other people. So you wait for it to come back in stock and then get it purchased from that way. Okay, So realistic leadership. My book, Real Leaders Wear Pink, is real and pink are acronyms. Real stands for realistic, effective, authentic, and leader-led. Pink stands for powerful, innovative, natural, and knowledgeable. The 74 principles of real leadership fall into those categories. Embrace change falls under the realistic category. And so, good morning, Regina. And so, realistic leadership is honest leadership, and it requires you to lead from three areas: your head, your heart, and your gut. Good morning, Sabrina, as well. And so, remember, I wrote this book back in 2008, published it in 2009, and earlier in the year, we actually found out that there are three brains. And watch this. This is how you know the dots will connect, as Steve Jobs said in the future. You have three brains: your head brain, your heart brain, and your gut brain. I did not know this information way back in 2009, and it's on the first page after the introduction in my book. That's how you know I've been anointed and appointed to do this, in case you were unclear about it. If you were confused, like, the fuck is she doing talking about the brain, your head, your heart, and your gut. Head, heart, gut, those are the brains that you listen to. That's the foundation for principles of real leadership as well, for realistic leadership. That's synchronicity. So now, embrace change. In order for you to become 100% personally accountable, yes, head brain, heart brain, and gut brain. Gut brain. If you'd like to know my credentials, Tilo, because you're new to this, but I'm true to this, you can go to LinkedIn and find out how I do this shit. Okay, you can, my complete name, government name, is Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers. So feel free to go to LinkedIn and gather 80% of my credentials over there. And it's actually an EDD, not a PhD, which is why I'm actually teaching, because I'm an educator and not a philosopher. So a PhD is a philosophy in. Okay, that's number one. I'm an educator. There is actually a difference. Okay, Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers. Go to LinkedIn and you'll find out all of the information there. But we're not here to question whether I know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay? Got it? You can move along. Okay, so embrace change. In order for you to become 100% personally accountable, you're going to need to embrace change. You're going to need to embrace change. Okay? You can't do it without embracing change. And as we get into this lesson, this live, you will understand why this is necessary. So whenever it shows up and however it shows up, whatever it shows up, well, that's bold coming from someone who has a cartoon character as their profile photo. You don't even have your government name. So there are plenty of things that you're not conducting yourself as. You can't even present yourself as a human being right now. So perhaps you might want to reassess your whole life, that you don't either like the way you look, like who you are. So you've decided to use a cartoon character and a fake name to try to come and talk shit to me. You don't want none of this air and motherfucking opportunity. I conduct myself like a real leader. 10 toes down on this shit. Fuck around and find out if you want to. I will drag you and then block you. Is that what you like for this morning? Because I could serve up some real shit for you. And you're not a real person. You're not a real person. You're like, oh, I got her on the leash. I got her on the leash, ladies and gentlemen. I got her on the leash. I got her. You're looking for some dopamine boost. Oh, goodness. Got her on the leash. I got more education than your toothless ass parents. How about that? Or your cousins. Or your brother and sister. However that works in the trailer park that you live in. Y'all's all related. Oh, man. Boom, boom, boom. I'm getting ready to get rid of T-Lo, y'all. I can't tell you. You're right. I'm not going to tell you. I did tell you. I told your dumb ass to go to LinkedIn. But you got to go because you interrupted real progress over here. So bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. It's summer. They're bored. Got it. But that's an adult. So there you have it. So anyway, if you're new here, you don't understand who I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers. And I got 50 shades of fuck around and find out. So I am absolutely 100% not the person that's just going to come here and let an unaccountable person act the fuck up. I used to do stand-up comedy, so I know how to handle hecklers And depending on what I want to do in that moment, I'm going to address it. I'm going to address them, or I'm going to just keep it moving and block them and remove them from the live. But that is my personal choice. And if you take issue with any of that, you can leave as well. Okay. When you get to my level of everything that I've done, then you can tell me how to handle me presenting my information. If we were in a college university and somebody came to the class and did that, you would understand that this person is being unaccountable. And so I get to handle them as I see fit. I'm minding my own business, and this person is deciding that they want to enact and be imbecilic. Then it's up to me how I want to handle that. I didn't go to their page, and that person wasn't a real person to begin with because they had a cartoon character and a fake name. So they were bored and they did not get the reaction and response that they wanted. And what I'd also like to say is, as an African-American woman, I will not be justifying my motherfucking credentials, because y'all got the wrong person in the White House right now trying to say we're unqualified. I'm more than fucking qualified to talk about the fuck I'm talking about on the daily basis. And I am not Pepsi pretty. I am not politically correct. And I don't give a fuck about your motherfucking feelings. So you got me motherfucking twisted. Although Kamala and both AKAs, I'm cut from a different motherfucking cloth. I'm from Glendale between 12th and 14th. So if you want to see Dee Dee from the D, I will present her to you. Don't get it twisted. Do not let my education get you confused with who you can be dealing with. I'm choosing to be this version of myself, okay? But I can flip the switch and nobody will be safe, okay? All right, so anyway, whenever change shows up and however it shows up, you need to be ready for it and embrace it. It will most likely show up when you are in the middle of something else. When you are in the middle of something else and you are focused on doing this thing, change comes a knocking at your physical, mental, or virtual door or financial door. It's going to show up because that's what change does. And it will come packaged as a problem, as a growth opportunity, as an inconvenience, at a time when you just got comfortable. That is when change is going to show up. So if you're like, I just got accustomed to, yep, you sure did. And now that's why it's time to change. That is why it's time to change. Now, the brain doesn't naturally like change because of negativity bias. The brain does not like change, okay? It doesn't like it. It doesn't, because of negativity bias. So we just had an ignoramus on the live and their negativity bias trying to come and hijack my amygdala because I'm actually doing something phenomenal over here. And as soon as they see something great, unaccountable people got to go try to destroy it. So the brain is like, negativity bias. That's positive. Let me go over there and try to destroy that. No, I don't want to do anything that's going to benefit me. The brain likes predictability because that's what keeps you safe. So change feels like danger. Change feels like danger. The amygdala right here shows up and say, no, stop. No, don't, no. We comfortable over here. What you do? We got this comfort cocoon. What you trying to do? No. Stay right where we are. So it also keeps you very unaccountable. 6.8 billion adults in the world, all of them are personally unaccountable because of the inability to embrace change. I'm going to change my hair. No, you need to change that insignificant other in your life. Give me 1 second, because what we're not going to keep doing is that. Okay. Yes, definitely. So change is very unaccountable when you don't embrace it. So change is what you need to grow from being personally unaccountable to being personally accountable. You got to change. You got to stop being unaccountable and you got to start being personally accountable. That means you're going to need to change. That's why it's number one, the first one in the book. Now, you will never become your best as long as you're unaccountable and you allow the people closest to you to be unaccountable as well. Never going to happen. Never, ever gonna happen. You gonna be, because that's stuck Malayan stance, and they want you, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, level 3, stay together. Stuck people stay stuck together. They don't just stay together, they stay stuck together. And everything about them stays stuck. So y'all just stuck together doing stuck shit all day long. But the last thing you're gonna do is change. So you can only become 100% personally accountable by getting rid of all of the unaccountable people. You can't half-ass personal accountability. It's impossible to do. You cannot half-ass this. It's 10 toes down, all in, feet first. Otherwise, it's never going to work, ever. So creating neurogenesis means that you are going to create new neurons that fire off in order for you to learn and become personally accountable. You need to do that in an enriched environment up here and out here. So if you are in a toxic environment, it's going to become hard as hell to learn how to hold yourself personally accountable. I did it. I grew up in a toxic household, but it's going to require even more mental strength to get it done. So what happens? I want to embrace change. So how do I do that? There's going to be these new neurons that are taking place. And we talked about 3 days ago, 4 days ago, neurogenesis, then neuroplasticity and neuromobility. So you need all of that taking place in order for these 74 principles of real leadership to work in your life. Now, when you continue to embrace change, the process becomes part of your working memory, which we talked about yesterday. And now it stays logged into your hippocampus. And that's where your long-term memories take place. So now that I've given you this background of how this is going to work, I'm going to show you whenever possible the parts of the brain that you are using. I'm also going to explain, that's the definition of show, how the principle of real leadership is connected to the brain so that you understand you have the neurological ability to learn how to use these principles of real leadership, create that synapses, those neural pathways, and use it every single day. So think of this as we are in Lowe's and now we are walking through the hammer section, the hardware section. We're going to get the plaster and we're going to get some stucco and some paint and we're building something and it's called you. We're building the personally accountable you. And so now I'm saying, hey, this is where all this stuff is. And now I'm showing you how these things connect to principles of real leadership so you're on purpose. Don't do anything without a strategy. And so you're going to find out this morning why you have not been able to change and stay changed. So here it is. What questions do you have about embrace change? It is the first principle of real leadership. The top one that you have to do is hold yourself and others personally accountable, or the other 73 aren't going to fucking matter. So after you say, I'm going to do that, now embrace change. How do I do that? Why do I need to do that? Because you're going from being personally unaccountable to being personally accountable. And that's 100%. So, and I'd like to say now, and I think I might say it again later, but personal accountability is not perfect. It is, I am responsible and accountable for all that I do. If I tell you I'm going to do something and I don't, that's me not keeping my word. So the personally accountable thing to do is to, number one, apologize when you are wrong. I'm sorry, I told you I was going to do this and I didn't, so I didn't keep my word. That's personal accountability. So it's not you're going to do everything right. You're going to do everything perfect. No, but you're going to own your shit, all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything else. You own who you are as a person because that's the only thing that you can change. And that's personal accountability. Unaccountable people do credit and blame. If things are going well, they take complete credit. If shit is going left, they're blaming everybody else but themselves. And being personally accountable says, how did I fuck this up? What happened? So when I say I had a terrible marriage, I was 50% of the problem in my own marriage. And I take full responsibility for the role that I played in that marriage. By no means I'm saying, no, I was a perfect wife. No, I wasn't. I got kicked out of a mega church for laying hands on the sick with the fivefold ministry. I'm going to leave it at that because the statute of limitations might be over, but hey, no plausible deniability. So you ain't in love unless you got kicked out of a fucking mega church. Don't drive down the street, let alone come on the property. All right? So that's love, baby. That's love and money on the line at the highest level. Y'all think y'all doing something. Get kicked out of a mega church, okay? And then come back and see me. Well, I was holding on to their legs. I bust the windows out their car. No, I got kicked out of a mega church. All right? Told somebody, hold my baby. I'll be back. And it ensued into a high-speed chase because I used to be a military police officer. So it didn't end at the church parking lot. No, it did not. I went through some streets in Orlando, Florida. But I'm better now. So, yes. So when I say don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me. Don't. It ain't safe for nobody, okay? If I'm willing to fight on the Lord's ground, on holy ground, you are not safe, okay? You are not safe. But I digress. So anyway, I have to take complete responsibility for that. And I can be like, oh no, I've never done anything. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I have thought about it. I prayed for 18 months, 18 different types of ways that my ex-husband could die and I could collect the insurance money without me being involved. Okay? Please, Lord, let him fall off a ladder and be imploded with a pole through his heart. Let him die, Jesus. Lord, thank you. You said you have not because you asked not. I'm asking. Kill him, Lord. Kill him. All right. Kill him. No, didn't happen. He about to be 60 in October. He's fine. Okay, anyway, I digress. I'm way off track now. Here we go. So what part of the brain do you use to embrace change? Sabrina, I'm glad you asked. There are multiple, as you can see, there are multiple connected parts of the brain that you use. So you use your emotion regulation, your cognitive flexibility, which is located in the executive function of your brain, as well as decision making. Emotional regulation, because change make you go, whoo, I don't want to do that. So you got to regulate that. You got to go to the amygdala and say, listen, shut up, sit down, bitch, be humble, okay? Chill out. And then cognitive flexibility and your decision making, because you got to make a decision to change. Got to make that decision. So what's involved? What parts of the brain? First of all, you have the prefrontal cortex that you can see right there. And that's the executive function and adaptation. So what role does it play? It helps with planning, problem solving, and adaptive behavior. Yes, adaptive behavior. Okay, you have to be adaptable to change, and you got to plan it and be able to solve problems. Now, what's the relevance to change? It enables cognitive flexibility, which is part of the executive functions of the brain. Yes, cool out, amygdala, I got this. And so that's the ability to shift your thinking and adjust to new rules, situations, and perspectives, because change means you're not going to be doing the same thing. I'm coming up on 15 years of being gone and delivered from my corporate job. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. And I have shifted. I am not the person that I was when I was 37 years old, leaving Frito-Lay. I'm not that person. Do I probably look the same? Yes. But am I the same? Absolutely not, because of the thousands of changes that I've made in the last 15 years. And it's all happening in that prefrontal cortex. Now, the next one is the anterior cingulate cortex, and you can see it right there. Now, this is also referred to as the ACC. So this helps with error detection and emotional regulation. Okay, so you're going to regulate your emotions here. You're not going to say, I'm so scared, I'm not changing, and then you sit in your comfort cocoon. No, it's saying, shut up, be rational, let's go make some changes. And so what it does is it monitors for conflict or errors and helps regulate your emotions. So it's saying, wait a minute, calm down. All right, breathe. This ain't that. Yes, the human body is so interesting. Wow. And it detects when things are different or not working, and it creates a shift in behavioral mindset. I left my corporate job because it wasn't working, and now I'm doing something else. This time last year, people were in 30-day challenges. They were still doing the yes and no challenge. It didn't work, so it's changed, and now that challenge has been repackaged. Well, I will say that challenge sunset, and a new challenge took its place, and that's what you end up experiencing is that 30-day PA challenge, which is your first 30-day challenge. Now, then you have the amygdala. Y'all see that? Amygdala. So it's the fear and threat response. So the role of the amygdala is to process emotional responses, especially fear and uncertainty. So fight or flight. And it's really fight, flight, freeze, or appease. And what that first ignoramus tried to do was hijack my amygdala. They were looking for a fight. Sometimes people are looking for you to run away. Some people are looking for you to just freeze and let fear paralyze you. Most of the time when you're dealing with your unaccountable stuck malies and stins, they want you to appease them. And that's what they say, well, you ain't good at reading. How you going to learn about the brain if you can't read? So they start reminding you at this low level caste system that they have you in. So you will just go, okay, I'm not going to try to learn how to embrace change. I'm not going to learn how to use my brain. You're right. I'm going to just go get my nails done. I'm going to just go to the gym. I'm going to just go work at the oil change place. So, right. And so that's what's called a hijacked amygdala. So because at that point, what happens is then I cut off access to my frontal lobe, which is where all that prefrontal cortex, that's where your logic, reason, and understanding is. But that person didn't understand that I was doing that on purpose, because I came right back to doing what I needed to do. So they don't understand that now I know that they're trying to hijack my amygdala, and we just won't let that happen. And so their amygdala got hijacked instead, because now they're going to think about the fact that I told them that their parents were either their brother, sister, cousin, and mother and father too, and to go back to their trailer park with their 3 teeth. So that's going to sit there for a minute, add some, some flames and stir. So that's not what they were expecting. And I told them they were also embarrassed about how they looked and what their actual name was. Basically called them a coward and a bitch ass, all in the same 2 minutes. Okay. So don't start none, won't be none, but you come over leaping froggy and you're going to get knocked right out the air. Okay. So the amygdala is fight or flight. And the amygdala is around for way back thousands and thousands of years ago, when you used to get saber-toothed tigers and everything else. And they used to say, okay, ooh, it's a dragon over there. And it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex over there. Be careful, be careful. And now negativity bias is just hardwired in our neural pathways. So you wake up every day looking for the threat. What did the president do? What did the elected officials do? What did this person do? What did this person do? What happened here? Oh my God. So you just stay and lived in this hijacked amygdala state. Therefore, you can't embrace change, because what change happens in all of these portions of the brain, but the decision making and the problem solving and how you change is in your frontal lobe. And if you are afraid, that's where cortisol enters. It's called brain fog, and now you can't make rational decisions. So what happens is, in relevance to the change for the amygdala, it often resists change due to the perceived threat or risk. So you have to learn how to manage this fear in order for you to be able to actually change. Is me being left-handed have anything to do with the way I think? No. It is not. People have made you feel like something is wrong with you because you are left-handed. It is just how you process. It's in an orthographic processing center and the motor skills of your brain. Some people are just left-handed. I'm a right side sleeper. Some people sleep on the left side. It's just how your brain is wired in order for you to communicate. So it has nothing to do. People have made left-handed people think that something is wrong with them. Ain't shit wrong with y'all, other than y'all have to write at a different rate because of the amount of people who are actually right-handed. No, you get to think how you want to think. Okay, so the next one is the hippocampus. Okay, so are we clear? The amygdala is fight or flight. Frontal lobe keeps the amygdala in check, and what happens is you get a false positive. So the amygdala don't know if the threat is real or not. When you see something that makes you afraid, your heart starts beating and everything, and the amygdala is like, okay, shut down, what's happening? But sometimes you just might need to be given a speech at Toastmasters, and that makes you afraid. So it's not a real, actual threat that's actually taking place. Some write with both. I did with until I was taught to choose. Yes. So I know a lot of people who are ambidextrous and they use their hands in all different ways. My daughter is now using both hands. I dated a guy who wrote with his left hand, ate with his right hand. And yeah, we called him both handed back then. Okay. Grew up and dated a guy at that time. So your amygdala is hijacked and now you can't embrace change. So you have to tell the amygdala, listen, I'm choosing this change. Chill out. There is no saber-toothed tiger. I am just getting divorced. There is no saber-toothed tiger. I am going back to school. There is no saber-toothed tiger. I'm learning Krav Maga. I'm learning capoeira. I'm just doing something different. And the amygdala go, okay, all right. I'll chill out. Now, the hippocampus is also located in the limbic system with the temporal lobe. That's your nervous system. And that's where all your long-term memory is. And we talked about the hippocampus yesterday briefly in regards to the working memory. And for those of you visiting today, I highly recommend that you watch yesterday's live, because everybody has a working memory. And while it seems like, oh no, it's not that important. Yes, it is. Especially if you are over the age of 35, your working memory is not working. So watch yesterday's live. You need that. Even if you decide you're not going to become personally accountable, you need to understand your working memory. So the hippocampus is the memory integration. And the role of the hippocampus is that it consolidates new memories and compares new information to past experiences. So it's doing a lot. It's taking in new information and then it's saying, how does this relate to what I already know? And then it helps make sense of new situations by connecting them to what you already know. And so we talked about this before too, is the somatic markers. I have a familiarization with what you're saying, so I'm going to accept this information and I'm going to use it. But personal accountability is new. So your brain is trying to process this, but it doesn't have any previous information. The example that I always use is this. When Steve Jobs was working on the iPhone and the touchscreen, somebody said, but people aren't going to do this. This is new to them. And he said, they'll get used to it. And now you walk up the screens, and if you touch it, it don't work. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with this screen? But there was a time in our lifetimes when touch screens weren't the thing, and now they are. So personal accountability, your brain isn't currently wired for it. So your hippocampus doesn't have any long-term memories for this. So if this feels foreign to you, and it should, not the people who attend regularly, but for new people, you're saying, what? I am accountable, Dr. Donna. I'm in the house. I pay my bills. I got a decent credit score. I got a lot of money in the bank. I do my job. I got college funds for the kids and the grands and all that. Yeah, okay. You're not at your best. You're not operating at 100% because you aren't doing extraordinary things. You're doing ordinary things that with a little bit of extraordinary sprinkles on top, and you're comparing it to the unaccountable adults in the world. And so it feels like you're doing better than them, but that's operating at 70%, and that's called the Chris Henry effect. But personal accountability is 100%. Every day, all day, you are accessing your best every single day in and day out. Had a touch screen. Yes, there you go. And so, but now everything has a touch screen. So that technology has been around for a while, but now we use it for everything that we do. Everything that we do has a lot. I would say 90% of the things that have a screen, it's a touch screen. And so the hippocampus for personal accountability does not have any long-term memories. Okay, so now you know. You don't have a frame of reference for it. What you have a frame of reference for is right and wrong, accountable and unaccountable. But you don't have personal accountability. That personal says I'm responsible and accountable for all that I do and all that I fail to do, and I don't get to blame anybody else for some shit that I'm responsible for. Okay? So now, then we're talking about the insular cortex right there. And this is considered to be its own little lobe. It's not part of the major four lobes. And the insular cortex is self-awareness and emotional perception. Self-awareness and emotional perception, and it integrates internal states like discomfort and anxiety. It puts them together. And so the relevance to change is it informs your gut feelings about change and helps you tune into emotional responses that may need to be reframed. So one thing about the head gut is it's sending 400 the gut brain is sending 400 messages to the head brain every day. That's a one-way transmission. So if you ever did something, the gut said, yeah, no, don't do that. And you did it anyway, and you say, something told me not to do that. That message came from the gut brain to say, don't do that. And then you didn't listen because it passed your heart. It's like, no, I'm going to help them. I'm going to do this. And next thing you know, your dumb ass did it. And now you over here living to regret it. So when that gut say, listen, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And that's not the amygdala saying, but the gut brain. It's a different feeling because the amygdala is, but the gut brain is like, listen, it's like a pimp. It's like, yeah, man, don't do that right there, baby. That's a bad idea. Don't do that shit. No, you too cool for that. Listen to it because it's 400 one-way messages being sent every day, all day long. So listen to your gut brain, okay? So the insular cortex is saying, let's reframe this. I'm going back to school because I want a degree, because not just because I want to get promoted, but I want that information. I'm currently studying neuroscience. And let me tell you, I did not know it was this much fucking physics involved in neuroscience. I took biology and chemistry in high school and biology and chemistry in college. I ain't got any background in no damn physics. That's why it's taking me triple the amount of time for every lesson to get it done. Because I'm like, listen, I don't know nothing about no damn hyperpolarization, no depolarization, none of this stuff. Axons and synapses and dendrite trees and geo and all this other stuff and halal and the basal ganglia. And I'm like, listen, but I'm learning it because I need this information for y'all. So what's happening is my insular cortex is like, calm down. You got to get this Okay, you got to get this done. Okay, Sabrina said, just curious, when disease is present, which parts of the brain physically change? For example, I know someone takes anxiety medicine and they have no attention span when off it. Okay, so short answer is this, Sabrina. What has happened is that person has trained their brain to take the medication. So when you have synapses, what takes place is you have an axon and then you have a dendrite. So and there's a nice little space. And so on the dendrite side, you literally have this opening and neurotransmitters come in and kind of latch on to this. And now you create this synaptic connection. And so what happens is in that space, if the brain is diseased, medicine goes in and does the thing that your brain should naturally be doing. And so as you know, Nola has ADHD, ADD, and a little touch of autism and is on no medication whatsoever. So your brain naturally does these things. And when you take the brain and wire it, you can wire the brain to stop being dependent on the medication. But what happens is, just like with cocaine, and hopefully YouTube won't do this, the brain becomes dependent on that. And now it gets weak and it can't do what it will do naturally because of this syntheticness that's coming in to give you this nice little boost. And so what happens is that person, if now has believes, and it's true, that brain is now dependent on that medication. So then there will have to be a time when the person has to be weaned off the medication and now create that naturally by creating more synaptic connections. Because right now we have thousands of synaptic connections happening for us to be able to do all of this. And so now the brain, and what happens is with ADHD, people just say, get on your medicine, because you're getting on my nerves. But the medicine doesn't make it so your brain is functioning naturally because it's not natural. Okay, give me 1 second to get this person out of here. So let me know if I've answered your question. So in summary, embracing change takes your whole brain. As y'all can see, it's all around the whole doggone brain. And it processes it so that the prefrontal cortex plays a central role in helping you adapt thoroughly. So the prefrontal cortex is doing most of the work, but so think of the prefrontal cortex as the lead singer, and then the rest of them are the backup singers. So that's David Ruffin, and then the rest of everything else is the Temptations. Okay, so without the prefrontal cortex, ain't shit gonna happen. Okay, they can't hear you, Sabrina. And the reason why the person can't hear you is because of negativity bias. So when someone has negativity bias and confirmation bias and conformity bias, they can only hear what affirms what they already believe. So in order for them to actually hear you, they would have to embrace change. They'd have to say, I'm sick of the side effects of this fucking medication. This shit got me, I can't even think straight or nothing. And at that point, they are ready to change. And now you can say, hey, would you like to learn how to use your brain? But as long as they are not willing to embrace change, as we mentioned, look at all that's involved in embracing change. And that prefrontal cortex, when you are in a hijacked amygdala state, you have very little access. There is no connection to your frontal lobe. You are in fight or flight mode. You're operating in a hijacked amygdala state. So all of your decision-making, logic, and reason have been cut off, and you can't reason with an unreasonable person. So stop trying to have a conversation until they say, I'm sick of this medication. It's a moot point. So again, prefrontal cortex is David Ruffin. All the rest of this are the Temptations. And so it works together to create 5-part harmony. Okay. Now, while areas like the ACC over here handle emotional and psychological resistance, and then they also strengthen the networks for mindfulness, self-awareness, flexibility training, it can improve your ability to navigate change smoothly. So look at how many things you have to have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different portions of your brain are working in order for you to change. Now, did you know that? Did you know that? Because you over here beating yourself up saying, why the fuck I can't change? This don't make no damn sense. I'm watching people change all the damn time. And they're not really changing. They're just doing things that are comfortable and simple for them. And they can do it short term. But have you ever met somebody who was all in, going to the gym, buffed up, buff, and then 2 years later, they back to their regular size? Like, how the fuck did that happen? Because it wasn't true lasting change. It was change for a moment, but they didn't make a mental change to say, this is my new body and this is the body that I'm going to keep. So as soon as something showed up, a trigger, They went back to that hijacked amygdala. They went back in their comfort zone, and then it manifested itself externally as I'm putting on more weight, or I'm not going to the gym. No, I don't need that no more. That was for a time, but I ran out of time. I ain't got time for a gym membership. You can work out at home. You can do workout apps. But yeah, and so it's not lasting change. And Jasmine says, I didn't know that, but I'm grateful for an able mind and body. So that's why your change is not sticking, because of the different aspects of your brain that are involved in embracing it and sustaining it. So now, here are some brain-based activities to help you build cognitive and emotional flexibility needed to embrace change. Okay, first of all, questions. Do you have any questions of the 5 that are presented for you to understand what's needed for you to embrace change? So you have the prefrontal cortex, you have the ACC, you have the amygdala, the hippocampus, and the insular cortex. All of that. No, I have to still control my anger when people don't listen to my why, which is supported by facts. Was told I don't even understand your reason for saying no. Okay? And so your anger, which you can process, is why you're angry about them not listening to change. Because now and anger means that something needs to change. So you're the one who needs to change in this instance. If you're angry, you have to change because you're the one that's actually angry. I know that's crazy, but that's being personally accountable. So you let it go. And so for me, when people didn't want to change, I'm out. I'm going to change me being in that situation because what unaccountable people want is company. They want company in their comfort zone. And we don't do that. We will help you use your brain to get out of that situation, but we will not be complicit and co-signing on you being in the comfort zone. I'm not doing that. Fuck you in the comfort zone. I hope that motherfucker fall in the sinkhole. Okay? Go down deeper. Okay? And the avalanche comes on top of that. Right. Control the controllables. And so you can't. And no matter how much you care and love for that person, it doesn't matter. Y'all know my daughter is in challenges and she got to be a real leader, and she knows if you stop holding yourself personally accountable, you could kick rocks. I'm out. That my shit is conditional. It 1000% is. This whole just loving through that. I'm not loving you through shit. I'm gonna tell you how to get through that shit, but I'm not loving you through unaccountability. That no fucking way. Oh no, and that day. It's not happening. Okay. So brain-based activities to help build cognitive and emotional flexibility needed to embrace change. And Nola, are you on here? Is that you at Miss Rogers? No. Okay, because I haven't heard you this morning. All right. So let it go. Let go, let God. Okay, because I believe you are a Christian. And you ain't got to be a Christian to be over here. We got people with all different religious preferences. I don't care. I just say my thing because that's what I am. I'm a Christian. I don't go to church. Done with church. But you can be an atheist, agnostic, whatevs. It don't matter. That's not the barrier to entry. Okay. Yeah. So someone else is Miss Rogers. That's why I was asking. 2024. Okay. You got a separate what's the name account. So that's why I was asking. Okay. So based upon what are some brain-based activities? Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that. Brain-based activities for you to be able to embrace change and have cognitive flexibility. Number 1, mindfulness and meditation. And so mindfulness is the practice of intentionally focusing on being in the present moment, not being judgmental and just saying, okay, what's actually happening here? So there are mindfulness videos on TikTok, YouTube, apps, all of that. So you can be mindful or you can meditate. And the reason why, how it helps is it strengthens the prefrontal cortex and the anterior cingulate cortex too, so that it improves your focusing and your emotional regulation. So the person who had a failed attempt this morning to try to throw me off my square about my educational background, it didn't work because of my mindfulness, because of my meditation, because I know who I am, because your personality resides in your frontal lobe. It was basically a failed mission. Okay, got it. Thank you, Nola. And so you practice. So you're going to start with 5 to 10 minutes a day, focused on breathing. You can meditate. I recommend definitely, I don't have a mindfulness app in play. Right now, currently I don't have no brain deals or nothing. Pick the one that works best for you and pick the meditation practice that works best for you. It's your brain, so you will determine what you need. But that's number one. Because if you don't have access to your prefrontal cortex and your frontal lobe, it's not going to work. This is not going to work. You need access to the strongest part of your brain, that the CPU of your brain. And if you don't, either your amygdala is going to run your life, or your frontal lobe and your prefrontal cortex are going to run your life on a day-to-day basis. Okay, number two is cognitive reframing. Cognitive reframing, and it's also referred to as thought shifting. So how does it help? It activates the prefrontal cortex to reinterpret situations and reduce fear from the amygdala. So what I had to do, and then to practice it. So when faced with change, write down the fear and then write a new empowering perspective on it. So me, in my neuroscience class with this physics that just keeps going from module to module to module. So first of all, I had to address my test anxiety for multiple guest tests. Then I had to address my note-taking skills in things that I don't know. Then I had to address this new technical jargon that I have no idea what is, that I have to know so that I could completely understand it and present it to you. And then after all of that, I still have to take what I'm learning and say, how does this match the principles of real leadership? So it's very high level shit. Send it through the Dr. Dono meter and make it so that it's palatable for you to digest and for you to be able to use. And so what I had to do was thought shifting. I had to tell myself, you are not stupid. This is fucking physics. Okay, this is not ABC 1, 2, 3. Okay, not at all. This is dendrites and all kind of things you've never ever even heard of before. And I'm doing this for the bigger picture. I'm doing this because there are 6.8 billion people in the world, adults, not being personally accountable. And the neuroscientists, the neurologists, and the psychiatrists are not focused on us, the people who don't have damaged brains, because we want to learn how to use our brains to become our best. So I got to sit through this class and get past all of my everything that I have from the educational system and learn how to do this. So I have to thought shift. I can't say, yeah, this shit is hard. Fuck it. Don't do it. Your amygdala is hijacked. Move on. It's not going to work. Okay. Sabrina said, I think I got mad because they had the only other African-American woman come and tell me why they didn't agree. And I cut her off to say it was already told to me. And basically there is no conversation here. Thought shifting. It's called thought shifting. It's called thought shifting. Okay. And again, Sabrina, by holding yourself personally accountable to become thought shifting. By becoming your best, you are going to have to make changes. Remember, one of the 74 principles of real leadership is to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. So if you are taking on the temperament in your office, that means you have turned into a thermometer instead of being a thermostat. And so there are things that you need to do neurologically consistently so that this hijacking of your amygdala will not take place. So the fact in that moment that you allowed your amygdala to be hijacked shows that from a consistency perspective, you are not staying in your frontal lobe. You are being personally unaccountable to yourself and allowing this to take place. So that situation could have, when you communicate effectively, that situation could have been handled a myriad of different ways, but with the hijacked amygdala, you go into fight, flight, freeze, or appease mode, and now the situation cannot be resolved. And one of the 74 principles of real leadership is to handle conflict when it occurs. That takes time. You got to sit down. You have to address everything that's taking place and look for an actual solution to the problem. So in the event the problem occurs again, you bring everybody back to the strategy that you all agreed upon, and now you go from there. Because all of this without things to hold people to standing operating procedures, policies, and procedures, you go back. When I did have a corporate job, I used the employee handbook and the union contract, and this is what I'm going to hold people accountable to. Yes, it takes work to be a real leader. It actually does. But it takes work to be unaccountable too. And it takes more work to be unaccountable because there is no viable solution ever. There is no viable solution. When you hold yourself personally accountable, you problem solve, you move on your working memory, and you need to increase your working memory as well, Sabrina. So go back and watch yesterday's live because you don't have enough resources and tools to handle these things that are actually taking place on the day-to-day basis. All right. So I reframe it. So now I'm learning physics. Okay. And go look on LinkedIn. None of my background is in physics at all. Okay. I did not need physics for anything that I do currently, but now I do. All right. Yes, keeping your composure is slowing down the amygdala, and it's really regulating it to say there is no saber-toothed tiger coming after me. This is just a situation that I need to handle, because the body doesn't know. The amygdala just says, shut down. We stressed. There's a problem. I'm scared. Now let's go seek comfort somewhere. Number 3 is learn something new regularly. Learn something new regularly. And I've mentioned this before, and it is because it is learn something new every single day. Go to sleep smarter than when you woke up in the morning. So how it helps is it engages the hippocampus and it boosts neuroplasticity. So when you are learning something new, you are adding to your hippocampus long-term memory, and you are creating new neural pathways for that skill or the thing that you're learning. And in order to do this, you need to be in a 30-day challenge. And this is my reality. And I used to say, well, no, I'm not going to force people to do stuff because everybody's trying to sell you shit. I ain't trying to sell you nothing. I'm telling you, in order for you to be able to use your brain effectively, you need to be in 30-day challenges, period. None of the shit that I'm saying is going to work until you put it into practice. It will not work. You can sit here and listen to me all day long and go back and think, oh, I can do this. You can't, because you don't have the neurological pathways. You don't have the neurological pathways to hold yourself personally accountable. So nothing I'm saying is going to stick, because as soon as something goes left, that amygdala is going to go ahead and remind you that you need to be afraid. The hippocampus doesn't have any new memories to send to you. The working memory is unemployed. And now you're going to be sitting here saying, well, damn, that shit don't work. It actually does. But it's like going to the gym and watching people work out and then going home and thinking you're going to leave with muscles. You're not. You're not going to leave with muscles watching somebody else work out. I don't care if you listen to the trainer and take notes. You don't have a frame of reference for personal accountability, because I developed it. So you could think, oh, I'm going to just do what she said. You're not. You don't have the neurological pathway. So it's not going to work. You need to be in 30-day challenges. And 30-day challenges are extremely affordable compared to anything else out there that exists. And this, as Kevin said, it actually works. So then the next one is, and I misnumbered my things. Where's my pen? Right here. The next one is number 4, and it is exposure to small changes. Exposure to small changes. So you have to train your brain to tolerate uncertainty and build resilience. If I did not train my brain to tolerate uncertainty and build resilience, when I got to this neuroscience class, I would have quit, told y'all, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just keep doing what I'm doing, because you would have never known that physics is kicking my ass or any of that. That my second test, which was on physics, I got a 54 out of 54. I had to retake it and got an 81 out of 81 on it. You need an 80 for passing. I passed, and it's time for me to move on to the next module. So you need small steps, small changes. You could take a new route to work. You could change what you eat. You could change what you wear. You could change some furniture around in your house just to get the brain accustomed to changing. And then you start building up big changes. And that's how change sticks, because the brain is used to changing. It's accustomed to it. It's like, it's time to change. Okay, cool, no problem, because you've created that embrace change neural pathway. So it won't matter if it's a small change or if it's a hunormic change. And I give myself 15 minutes to bitch, moan, and complain, and then it's time to do the change. It's like, all right, fuck, I don't want to do this. It's stupid, man. Why the fuck I gotta do? I got all this going on. Okay, bam, time to change. I got 15 minutes or less to embrace change. 15 minutes or less. Okay, the next one is to be grateful. And be grateful, okay? Be grateful. Be grateful. Let me... Okay, so 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. What we have now is a bot. So someone is being paid to now come into my live and type piffleness. Look it up. And that's what's actually taking place. And so I'm showing you that these are all things that are, yes, absolutely. I'm showing you all things. Remember, we had somebody who came and started saying, make America great. And they were actually from India. And so that's what's actually taking place. So this person, again, is trying to 100%, let me let them go so I can finish saying what I'm saying. So what's happening now is that people are doing this to get a reaction so that they can say, yep, this worked, this worked, this worked, to disrupt it, to make it seem like there's more going on in the world than there actually is. So there are people who are literally paid to type things in, and that's what that person is, because that person typing that made no sense for what is actually taking place. And the reason why I let these things occur is because eliminate distractions is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And so you have distractions in your day-to-day life and you don't eliminate them. But the expectation that you have of me, because I'm a leader and you don't see yourself as a leader, but you actually are, is that, well, Dr. Donna needs to do something. Okay, I'm going to hold those people personally accountable. But my question to you is, when it shows up in your day-to-day, are you going to hold those people personally accountable? So I'm demonstrating to you the different ways that you handle unaccountable people. That's what this is about. Because I could just, as soon as I see it, block, block, block. But you're not going to do that in your life. How many unaccountable people come disrupting what you're doing, and then you acquiesce and turn into a thermometer instead of a thermostat, and then do what they want you to do, appease them because they hijacked your amygdala. So that's your takeaway from the 3 unaccountable people who tried to infiltrate my live today, is that they all got handled differently because they were 3 different types of unaccountable people. Okay, number 5 is be grateful. And again, gratitude is not being grateful for what you have because somebody has less than you. Gratitude is about being grateful for something that someone else has that's more than you. So the opposite of gratitude is envy. So when you find yourself being envious of someone, that's true gratitude. Not, well, I got a car, so at least I ain't on the bus. No, you got a car, and then a Rolls Royce Phantom pulls up next to your car. You need to be grateful for the car that you're in. And again, Sabrina, you need to get back in 30-day challenges, and all this is going to go away for you. That's why it's still occurring. On your own, that's just where you are. Get back in 30-day challenges, and all of this will magically disappear. That's what's taking place. If you was looking for a sign, here it is. Okay, so you need to be grateful. So every time it's time to change, and I can't be mad at the people who already know how to do physics, and I don't, because that's not being grateful. Okay, that being grateful is, I am going to learn how to do physics. I don't care that the teacher and everybody else, 85,000 people who already went through this course, know physics. That ain't got shit to do with me. I'm envious. Damn, I wish I knew how to do physics. Nothing in my background said I needed to learn how to do physics. So I have to be grateful that I have the mental faculties and the ability to learn at my own pace and actually learn what I need to learn so that I can continue to teach what I need to teach. So that's what gratitude is. All right, number 6 is self-reflection. Self-reflection is number 6. So how does this help? It increases activity into default mode. So what it does is it includes the prefrontal cortex and it aids in personal growth. So what you need to do on a daily basis is to practice self-reflection. 15 minutes or more, you have to start reflecting. And that's why at the end of every live, I asked you, what did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself? So when you get to the end of your day, what did you learn today and what did you learn about yourself? Self-reflection. Personal accountability is personal. That's why I don't have a face. There ain't no fucking merch. You can't buy this shit. I'm personally accountable. Look at my t-shirt, bitch. No, there is no physical description of somebody being personally accountable, okay? Because it's personal. It's you yourself personally. So how am I going to tell you what your personal accountability looks like? I can tell you the behaviors, which are the 74 principles of real leadership. So if you are not keeping your word, I don't care if you have on a fucking $16,000 outfit, if you don't, or a $2 shirt. If you keep your word, you're being personally accountable. If you don't keep your word, who the fuck cares what you got on? It don't matter. I don't care what your zip code is. If you don't know how to apologize when you're wrong, I don't care that you have $15,000 that you keep donating to these charities. Okay. If you cannot apologize when you are wrong and you are unaccountable, don't matter all the good you've done. To the one person that deserves that apology, they don't give a fuck about your charity work. So it is a self-assessment every single day, 15 minutes or more, especially when you are changing. When you are in the middle of a change, you need to be assessing, did I do the right things today? Did I change or did I acquiesce? Did I go back? Recidivism rate. Did I go back to my old behaviors? So personal accountability is personal. It's 100% personal. And that's why everybody, no matter what challenge they're in, They definitely do the challenges differently. They can, all y'all listen to the same things, look at the same video challenges, and everybody's stuff is different. That's because you are different. So there are no Dr. Donna clones over here. I don't know. We got one. We don't need no more. And then the last one is 15 minutes or more. The last one is physical exercise. And we talked about this for 2 days ago and yesterday, is you want to boost your BDNF, and that's your brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And it is your brain's ability to have adaptability. It's that fertilizer for the brain. And so you need to do aerobic exercise, running, walking, dancing, something physical, get up and moving. With all these remote jobs, sitting is the new standing, and so that is unacceptable. All right, so the 7 activities that you can participate in: mindfulness and meditation. Number 2, cognitive reframing, thought shifting. Look at it differently, think about it differently so you can actually embrace the change. You want to learn something new every single day. Do not go to sleep not having learned something. If you have not learned something for the day, then it was not a good day. Exposure to small changes, change what you eat for lunch, change the route that you drive, change the grocery store location that you go to. Start doing small changes because that builds up the resilience for big changes. Now you want to be grateful. Again, the opposite of envy is gratitude. So don't be grateful for somebody that got less than you. Be grateful when someone has more than you. Self-reflection, 15 minutes more a day. I'm getting to the BDNF, I can tell you again. Self-reflection, and then the physical exercise. That's number 7. And it is BDNF. BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And that's NEUROTROPHIC factor. And that's why people refer to it as the BDNF. And that's regular exercise. So as we come around third, here's what I will say. Embrace change is the only way that you're going to go from unaccountable to accountable, personally accountable. That's it. There's only 2 types of people in the world: people who hold themselves personally accountable and people who don't. That's it. Nothing else. If you're personally accountable, I fuck with you. If you don't, kick rocks. It's really just that simple. I don't look at how much money you have, your economic background, your age, your pedigree, what school you went to. None of that matters. Because if you can't use the principles of real leadership and your brain isn't wired for best, at some point, you're going to be average and regular. My pleasure. You're going to be average and regular. So I don't really care that you're really good at your job, but your house is in disarray. You're a terrible spouse, you're a terrible friend, and you're a terrible parent. So who cares if you make 15, 30 million, 100 million, $1 billion a year? Who cares? Who cares? You are personally unaccountable. So at the end of the day, if you want to be your best, you need to hold yourself personally accountable, and you need to be in 30-day challenges. You need to know how this amazing brain works. You need to do it for you. This is not for me. I'm doing this so that the world can be a different place, but it's your personal choice. You have free will. And if you find yourself saying, no, I don't know. That's why it's $30 a challenge. It's $1 a damn day. I did that on purpose. So take the excuse of it's too much. In this economy, it's too much. It's an investment for yourself. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. I'm going to keep doing this research, whether there are 2 people holding themselves personally accountable or 6.8 billion, because this is my life's mission. And I'm not going to leave here not having done what I was supposed to do. Now, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, that's on you. And so personal accountability is the mud seal to your life. And you got to embrace change. You do not have the memory for it because it wasn't taught. How to use your brain? There are no brain classes in elementary school, middle school, high school, or college unless you're focused on neuroscience, neurology, or something to that effect. Psychology, psychiatry, and all of those things. But if you got a degree in communication, you didn't learn about the brain. You didn't learn how to use it. So you have this amazing resource here that you are not using because you weren't taught how to use it. And now I'm telling you how to use it. So if you go off after today and decide, yeah, I'm going to think about it. No, you're not, because you live in a hijacked amygdala state. Soon as some shit pop off, you're going to be back, fight, flight, freeze, or appease. You're not going to have no access to your prefrontal cortex. It's not going to happen. So here are the benefits to change. Number 1 is personal growth. When you embrace change and you implement it consistently, it's personal growth. Number 2, you're going to have adaptability. My first degree is in public law and government. My second degree is in criminal justice. My third degree is in organizational leadership. And now I'm working on neuroscience. And in between there, I am nuclear, biologically, chemically trained. I know how to combat terrorism on military installations. I'm combat lifesaver certified. I'm MAC team certified. I'm a performance-based trainer, a continuous improvement master trainer, a distinguished Toastmaster, women-owned business awards, and everything else in between, all kind of stuff because of my adaptability. I'm from Glendale. 2024 Glendale, between 12th and 14th, Linwood, Woodrow Wilson, Young Boys Incorporated, and all that, Maserati Rick, and all of them. And now I live in a gated community in a suburb of Las Vegas. Adaptability. I done been in rooms with billionaires, multimillionaires, and Oscar award-winning celebrities, and everything else, and thugs, okay, and everybody else in between. That's what I'm saying. So adaptability, I embrace change. My cell phone number doesn't start with 313. I'm from the D, you can find out, but I'm not there anymore. Adaptability, okay? Opportunities. I have embraced change, and I have had more opportunities than my peers who I graduated from high school with because of their inability to stop this hijacked amygdala from stopping them to use this prefrontal cortex to become their best. So I have had many opportunity that I probably initially was not qualified for, but said, yeah, all right, fuck it. What you got? Where is it at? I do it. No problem. No problem. I'll be there sitting in places like, how in the hell did she get here? How is she here? How am I on my 40th birthday on Roberto Cavalli's yacht sitting in the French Canal during the Cannes Film Festival? Little old Dee Dee from the D. Huh? How'd that happen? What? That ain't some shit that people like, yeah, so when I was on, rest in peace, but yeah, that's so when I was on Cavalli's yacht in Cavalli. No, you weren't doing that with Paris Hilton and Adrian Brody, Chris Tucker, and all of the rest of them, Rosario Dawson, Uma Thurman, and Sharon Stone. You wasn't there. You wasn't at that party. They not like us, okay? No, come on. Listen. Anyway, the whole point is opportunities don't happen when you're not embracing change. You're trying to figure out why your life is stuck because you stuck. Because you have an atrophied prefrontal cortex, your working memory is unemployed, and you living in a hijacked ass amygdala state, and you want to start talking about racism, sexism, and all that shit. No, it's youism. Youism the problem. It's a youism. You is the problem. It's you, boo-boo. It's you. Okay, you can use all that as a excuse, which is a reason wrapped up in an excuse, and you can excuse a lie, which is your reasons for lying to yourself. But the truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. My daughter has celebrity clients because I've been in rooms with wealthy people. So you should see her client list. It's off the chain. She got corporate clients at 22 years old, been in a bunch of wealthy people and celebrity people house, current day, people that y'all would know. Influencers and everything, because I embraced it change. I adapted. I took advantage of all those opportunities. Number 4 is innovation. Innovation. We are talking about some non-sexy subjects, okay? The brain is boring. Personal accountability is boring. The 74 principles of real leadership are boring, but because I am innovative, I capture your attention for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes every day. The time go by and you ain't even realize that you've been talking about some of the nerdiest shit available, especially in 2025 when you got OnlyFans and all this other pop and dropping and all this dopamine and laden every 15 seconds. And now you're just getting your own natural neurotransmitters on a daily basis. And you trying to figure out, well, damn, why I feel so good after I get off this live? How is that possible? How is that possible? And she not telling me to, hey, bow down, bend the knee, kiss the ring. She telling me we peers over here. We all equal. We are real leaders. You hold yourself personally accountable. That's it. That's the barrier to entry. You want to be best? Let's do this. Gang, gang. 10 toes down. Because of the innovation. And the I in Real Leaders Wear Pink is innovate. Right, you do. Because this is what natural dopamine feels like. This is what natural neurotransmitters actually feel like. And if you look, and it's the difference between sugar cane and artificial sugar. Okay, if you have a little sugar cane, you're like, damn, this is natural. It's the difference between eating a nectarine and a Snickers. It's the difference between that. So it's natural. It's happening to you where you are naturally. I've never told you, well, this is the exact result you're supposed to get. No, I'm not. I'm saying when you embrace change, the community that you reside in is going to change. You are going to change where you are. not where I am. You're not changing in Las Vegas, you're changing where you're physically located. So that's innovation. Number 5 is mental agility. Mental agility. You keep your mind sharp. My mind is as sharp as Valyrian damn steel from Game of the Thrones, helping you stay open to learning and less rigid in your thinking. There is no way that somebody with an ROTC scholarship and a bachelor's degree in public law and government ends up with a brain t-shirt on and a brain background, living in Las Vegas, talking about neuroscience. You can't, that math ain't gonna never math. You can't say, mm-hmm. So yeah, so I could see how that would, no, we wouldn't even be at the same graduation. We wouldn't be in the same classes. Those two would never intertwine. And it is because of this mental agility that I know a lot about a lot. Because every room I sat in, I said, I need to master this. I need to completely understand. I'm 15 years from leaving Frito-Lay and doggone 9 years, almost 10 years of being there. And I can tell you why C.E. Doolin and Herman Lay brought the company together. I can look at a bag of potato chips to this day and tell you what the fuck happened to that potato. Why is it dense, high oil content, low sodium? If it wasn't enough nitrogen in the bag, if the OptiSorter didn't kick this one out, that's why you got brown pigmentation in potatoes you think is burnt, but that's high sugar content. I could tell you that. I could tell you the breakage. I could tell you what happened, why you got crumbs at the bottom of your bag of chips and where it got mishandled at and whose fault it is. And I'm 24 years away from that. And I can tell you how to get natural dopamine because I embrace change. I left the military, mastered that, went to Frito-Lay and said, I'm a master of taking raw materials and turning them into finished goods and selling them in the marketplace. I can look at a stand in the grocery store and tell you what time of year it is and why that product is at the checkout in the doggone produce section and everything else, and who was in the meeting and why you now see chips next to the bakery section in your local grocery store, because I mastered that too. Okay? Agility and understanding what it is that you need to learn because I am adaptable, because of growth, because of innovation. And number 6 is resilience. Facing change builds emotional strength. You are getting your amygdala hijacked, Sabrina, because you are not changing enough. You do not have the resilience to not let your amygdala get hijacked. When you keep changing, people can't hijack your amygdala. It can't happen. It got to be some real Hugh Norman big ass shit or some trauma that shows up because it's here now. Some PTSD or something, but on the regular, no, people can't throw you off your square when you got way more doggone mental strength than them. And so it prepares you to handle future challenges with confidence. Because I taught myself how to read in college, this physics is not fucking with me to the level that I feel like quitting. I take a break, go have me a snack or something, complain for a minute, and then I'm back at it. So that is why you need to embrace change. That is why. Because if you don't embrace change, you are going to be stuck sitting somewhere blaming a bunch of the isms and everything else because the unaccountable people taught you to do that. If something gets hard, quit and complain. And quitting is not an option. Quitters never win is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And failure is not an option, is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So that's all that I have for you this morning. What questions do you have for me and answer the following 2 questions. What did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself? And just to review the benefits to embrace change. Number 1, personal growth. Number 2, adaptability. Number 3, opportunities. Number 4, innovation. Number 5, mental agility. And number 6, resilience. Adaptability. Can you say the first 4 of adaptability? What do you mean? What did I say? Because that's not in my notes. I'm extemporaneously a lot off my notes. So if you tell me what part. So for those of you who are saying what you learned today and what you learned about yourself, friendly reminder, ... a brain, something so that I know that you are coherent here, paying attention, and you are thinking of your answer. No questions. Okay. What did you learn today and what did you learn about yourself as we close? And I knew I was going to go over, but this needed to be said because if you do not embrace change, ain't nothing else I'm saying going to work for you. Nothing else I'm saying. And for those of you who are not in challenges, you need to be in challenges. And I know you're fucking scared. Okay. Got it. Got it. I don't care. I actually don't care about your fear because that's not going to help you do a damn thing. Jasmine said, I learned that there is a heart brain, a head brain, and a gut brain. I meant what I said. Okay. I meant what I said. You need to go to theturnarounddoctor.com and sign up for the PA challenge because nothing in your life is going to change. You can think, I got it. I know exactly what I need to do. No, you don't. All you did was hear it. All you did was hear it. That was it. It's not going to work. I've watched so many people. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I've watched so many people try to half-ass personal accountability and all they do is end up right back at their starting point. That's it. You need a neurological shift. You need new neural pathways that you don't have. Regina said, I learned about 5 parts and functions of the brain as it relates to change. So this is the show me part. So now you understand all of the facets that you need to embrace change. So if you just say, I'm a change, no, you're not. I have to fight against letting amygdalas take the lead. Lola, nothing is going to work until you apply yourself. And I do know I need to take the challenge. All of you do. All of you do. And behind the scenes, there are people giving me research information on this. Sabrina said, yes, the 3 brains and how they work together and they reinforce the exercising for the BDNF. Yeah. Yeah. So let's just keep it a buck. What is y'all's apprehension for 30-day challenges? Because I need to know for my research. And so Regina has been part of research. Kevin is part of research. He's doing well, and he should be back here shortly. He even turned in his stuff yesterday from from the hospital. So y'all really ain't got no excuse. And Nola is about to start. She's been in challenges. So help me understand. Help me help you. So let's keep it a buck. You are not going to offend me, okay? I'd have been called a black bitch at work by an employee as I was getting ready to suspend him and fire him. So it'd take a lot for me to get offended. I just want to understand the obstacles, your neurological obstacles to not jumping in and doing this. So if you could enlighten me and tell me the truth, that would be great. Be honest is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. For the looky-loos too, who have been here and not saying anything, just go ahead and answer. Do me a solid. You got an hour and 15 minutes worth of value-added information. So the exchange is, tell me what's stopping you from being in the 30-day challenge. I need to know. I learned about myself that I am already embracing change. You are my amazing offspring, and there was a time when you didn't embrace change, and you will do it almost instantaneously now. And resistance to change is just fear with a bow. That's all it is. Fear with a bow. So go ahead and tell the truth. What the hell have I done? Go back up. I didn't pause myself. Now Gemini is talking to me. Did I pause me? Okay, now I'm going to be behind. It's not the cost, it's the time. I know it's to better me, but I work more than 8 hours, and I noticed when I did the first challenge how much time it took me in the evening. It's a second job. And how is it a second job, Sabrina? I'd like to explore that with you. So how is it a second job? And I'm seeking first to understand. There is no judgment here, because what I believe that you are saying, and I'm not putting words into your mouth. So what I'm going to say is what is being presented to me is this, that by the time you get home, you do not have any more mental capacity to do anything else. That's what I believe is taking place. And so for the other people that are here, no, Jared, answer the question before you get out of here. And I think who else is on here? Jasmine is on here as well. I'd like to know the answer. I'd like to know the answer. So, and the reason why I'm seeking this feedback, solicit feedback is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And as some of you know who have done extra research or done anything, when you actually give me feedback and that I'm asking for, if I need to make an adjustment in what I'm offering people, I will. Yet before it was 365 days, no 30-day challenges. I realized after research and interacting with more people that there needed to be something else to get you ready for a 365 challenge. And that's why the yes and no challenge was around this time last year. But with the 90% failure rate, that didn't work. So then I said, okay, well, what can work? And that's how we have now the 30-day personally accountable challenge. That's what the 30-day PA challenge is. And that works because the success rate for that, even with people in other countries, is higher. The completion rate on it. So I measure completion rates. So this is not about, oh, Dr. Don about to be a rich. It's not. It's Dr. Don is creating, giving people the opportunity to learn how to become their best and use the principles of real leadership. So communities are changing as a result of this. Been there, done that. Okay, I don't need no more new shit, bad shit, all that. I'm past that. I'm at the point where I'm building my personal legend, and that's what this is. So I need to know so that I can make it better. That's why just think of this as a how are we doing customer survey. When they used to tell us how we're doing, you write it a customer thing and put it back in the box back in the day. So I need to understand, help me help you remove obstacles so that you can learn how to hold yourself personally accountable. That's what this is about. So if y'all can answer that question, that would be great. And if you feel like you can't answer, no, fuck that. Answer the question here. I'm not about to create a more private environment. I actually need to know where the bottleneck is. I need to understand what is taking place. Is this thing on? Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Please be honest. I need this feedback. Yes, I had to decompress and get my mind ready to go to do the challenge. And then I thought I would do them in the morning to start my day. And when I do the next challenge, you should tell people in the guidelines, do it at the start of your day. Okay. I can say that for some as an option. But some people, for example, Nola does her challenges at night because she is a night person. So what I can offer is when your brain is at peak performance to do the challenge. Because for me, I would do it in the morning. Nola does all her challenges in the evening because that's when she's at peak performance because she's a night owl. She tried to do it in the morning, it will go extremely left. It's on. What's on, Regina? Okay. So that is something that I can do. And yes, I would apply the learned principles the next day at work. They do work. Okay. Now, Sabrina, see, I'm getting it. So, Sabrina, my recommendation to you as well is that when you have time, go back and look at the working memory. Because again, as I mentioned, there is this thing called cognitive overload. And so part of the reason why you do not have the mental faculties to do this is because your brain is not strong enough. And that's for everybody. And so when you are changing and learning to do something new, I myself with this neuroscience and this physics, there is this overload of you don't have any remembrance to it from the hippocampus perspective, and it can't be done because it feels like it's so much. And then it can be. And then you move on and you learn something differently. So to challenge yourself. And so because I have done a lot, having a job, having a child, having a pet, having a spouse, having a bunch of responsibility at work, and still getting my doctorate, while going through a divorce, 60 hours a week, 120 drivers, moving, almost dying, and everything else, neurologically, you do have the ability to do it. It's the creation of the new neural pathways that actually need to take place. And the more you change, the more neural pathways you create, the more you can actually do, the more that is possible for you. But it is that initial, this is a lot for me. And so notice how the other people, and maybe they're gone, and that's okay, because I will continue to ask this. So thank you for being honest and open and telling me what I need to hear on the live, Sabrina. I do value and appreciate that. Empowerment. Just change the inspiration to empowerment. And so it is foreign. And I get that it is foreign, and it needs to be foreign, because how are you going to get to a new level if you're familiar with it? If I make you feel good for being unaccountable, you will never become personally accountable. So this isn't a matter of me saying, yay, you could do it. Oh, motivation. I'm saying, do you want to change your life? Do you actually want to become a bad mofo? Do you actually want to become your best? Or do you just want people to stop making you feel uncomfortable? You just want to live in your comfort zone and do dumb shit. If you do, then personal accountability is not for you. And for me, I'm saying don't keep doing drive-bys to get your little nice little natural dopamine boost and then go back to Loserville, because the shit is going to wear off as soon as you cross the Loserville state line. It's not going to work. It actually isn't going to work. It's not. Yes, ma'am. And so I will close with this. I understand that there are a lot of thought leaders out there, and a lot of experts and life coaches and strategists and all kind of consultants and everything that make you believe that you can do something for 10 days or 20 days or 30 days or attend a retreat or come back to their annual event and your life is going to change. It's not. I'm saying become your best. And I'm saying it's happening up here. It's happening in your individual brain. That's where it's taking place. It's not taking place in the group setting, woosah, we're going to all sit and rock together and we're going to do some yoga together. It's personal. It's personal. You have been the only person in your life that has been with you your entire life. And it's time for you to take full command and control of your life. And this is how you do it. That's what you use in order for it to happen. And that's where I'm at with this show me portion of this. Nothing else is going to sustain itself without you creating new neural pathways that you strengthen on a daily basis. You're going to have to prune your unaccountability. You're going to have to prune your negativity bias. You're going to have to prune all the isms and everything else and all the biases to become your best. And you can't keep coming and listening to me and not doing this. It's disrespectful to me and to you, because you are lukewarm. You are double-minded. You cannot be unaccountable and personally accountable at the same time. That's like sitting in the light and the dark at the same time. This shit don't work. It doesn't work. And so I am putting my foot down. I am drawing the line in the sand. I am. You don't have to be sorry at all. I'm just keeping it 100,000%. And I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not doing this for fucking money. If I was, why would I be charging $30? I would be working with people who have money. That's not what this is about. This is about, I am tired of being on the receiving end of unaccountable people and their actions. I'm tired of seeing people and know that they have potential. Meet your potential is one of your 74 principles of real leadership, and you not having the neural pathways to do it for yourself. I'm tired of people saying men, women, the people with money, the billionaires, whatever. It's all bullshit. They just as fucked up in the brain just as much as you are. They just showcasing the one fucking thing that they know how to do. Make money, dance, sing, play a sport. Their brain is just as unbalanced and atrophied as yours. It's just different. And I am, quite frankly, exhausted from it. So I'm doing something about it, because I'm an action-oriented person. I am. I had the pleasure of being in a room with billionaires and brokenaires, celebrities and nobodies, or nobody that nobody knows. And so I am the person that can do this and sit in political circles and everything else and have these neurological conversations with people. I am David, and I'm slewing Goliath, and Goliath is the negativity bias that's hardwired into your brain. That's my mission in life. So I am totally transparent with you. I'm telling y'all I'm struggling with doggone physics, because I am, because I walk the walk. thought leaders and experts and shit ain't doing no new shit. Go look at their social media. They're doing the exact same fucking thing, saying the same shit with a new spin on it, but they are the same. Don't believe me, listen to how they speak. They communicate the same way that they were communicating 10 years ago. No new vocabulary, no new pauses, no new injections or anything. They haven't even become competent in their own communication. But they got a new book out. But they got a new product. But they got a new fucking shit that they want you to buy with it's just old shit with some fucking whipped cream on top of it. And so I'm saying the brain is the most important organ in your entire body. And I'm saying, wouldn't you like to know how to use it? Wouldn't you like to know how to use your brain? Because today you now know why you couldn't embrace change. You now understand why it was so difficult and why the change didn't stick because of all of that. So the next time you hear a expert saying some bullshit, what is it attached to? How do they know that it's going to work for you? This fucking cookie cutter ass method of how you're going to run your personal life and your personal situation. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm at. I feel this neurological shift. I asked God this morning for this moment in time to be able to say this, and this is how I feel. You are never going to be your best until you learn how to use your brain. I'm the one that's teaching it in the whole world. Me. Nobody else. It's me. That's it. So thank you for your time this morning. As I mentioned, none of this is going to work until you go and start doing 30-day PA challenges. You can keep coming over here and looking all you want. You ain't going to learn how to use this until you actually start using it. This is OJT. It's not going to work until you're going to go to the doggone gym and you're going to be lifting 1 pound weights up here. And then you're going to get to 2 pounds. Then you're going to get to 5 pounds. Then you're going to be able to do heavy lifting. But you can't go off and think listening to me talk about the brain is going to teach you how to use your brain. You're going to have to do the work day in and day out. And so from this day forward, I will be saying you need to be in a 30-day challenge. And if that bothers you, and if you think I'm pitching something to you, you missed the whole fucking point. And you are on the wrong live. You are attending the wrong live session because this is for you. You will be amazed at what's on the inside of your brain when you actually go up there and dust the cobwebs off and start actually using it. So thank you for your time this morning for yourself. You did this for you. You did not do it for me. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and go sign up for a 30-day challenge. I'm out.